Hello, all of you beautiful broken chairs out there. Welcome back to the JCP End Zone Perspective podcast. Here I am, your lovely co-host, and again, just really glad to be back
Wow.
here. Shut up. Really, really happy to be back here with no Chooch, unfortunately, but Cole is here. He's the only one that really is a constant in this.
What's up, y'all?
Just might as well call this a C show.
We bring it on guests every now and again. We'll get Patrick, back for Friday, and then we'll have you for today. So it's nice, it's a little change. Eventually, I promise, folks.
I
I'm
hope
gonna
next
do
week.
my
I'm
best
really hoping for next week.
to try and get these two together. So we'll see how that goes.
Yeah. Anyway, this is week
Perfect.
10 of the NFL show, Cole. We're already in week 10. How do you feel?
It's ridiculous, man. Where did it all go?
Just know that in about 10 weeks, we have to wait in the off season again.
I'm gonna be so sad. It's gonna be a sad POV.
Anyway, we're skipping NFL news, unfortunately, but we are going to go to a juicier topic. I know if you guys watch the show, you obviously know. You obviously know that I am a huge Michigan fan, and I think you guys would want to know how I feel about this Jim Harbaugh stuff going on. So we're gonna have a little talk about that, and then we're gonna have a topic about targeting and how much it's kind of been iffy throughout this season in NFL and college world.
Oh yeah.
And then we're gonna go into the week 10 games. I don't really know how to describe this week.
It's another weird one.
Another weird one. And then we're gonna go into our good, bad, and meh. And then for fantasy, and then we're going to go into teams that we're concerned about going into the rest of the season. All right, let's start off with this Jim Harbaugh stuff. So, Cole, if your team, if you're a defensive coordinator and the team that you're playing against obviously audibles, are you not going to signal to your team from the sideline to change?
No, I'm just gonna sit there and I'm gonna go, guys, you know what? We're set. We're ready. Let's wait as they run by us.
Yeah, make sure that we're not looking at the team sideline at all, because if we look at the other coach, then we're cheating.
Yeah, I'll just be like Matt House, just like, hey, we don't really have a defense, so go ahead and score anyways.
It's what me and Cole feel about this Jim Harbaugh situation. That's basically the gist of it. And that's how everyone should really feel. But there are some people that are like not having any sense of like how football is. There are people who haven't watched football, and I described it, and they're like, isn't that just like scouting? Exactly. Isn't that just like how you should know how a team plays? Like if you're going against a team that's like, oh, we're very run heavy, and then the next week they're like, dude, they knew what we were doing.
How did they know we'll run? See, right. I had this conversation with Jacob before we went live. Film should be banned. You should not be able to watch film. If Michigan gets reprimanded from this and not allowed in the college football playoffs because
it's
of this,
the biggest scam ever.
We should never even allow film. I mean, why have it? You're cheating then. So, like, where do we draw the line, I guess, is my question. Because this is absolutely ridiculous. And, the guy who did it, he's not even there. So to punish the program for something that is just completely dumb. Like, for instance, Ryan Walters, the coach of Purdue, he said in a press conference, you can go and look this up, he said, we had to change our whole language on, I don't remember if he said offense or just in general as the team, because of Michigan. Like, okay, buddy, you won like 3 games all year, and you're gonna say that Michigan has to sign steal to beat you? Get out of my face.
And so to break it down for anyone who's watching and doesn't really know what happened, I don't know how you don't, because this is like everywhere. Basically, there was a staff worker at Michigan named Connor Stallion, I think his name is, or Stallings, whatever. They spelled his name 2 different ways in 2 articles, if you want to know. So this guy's just mysterious in general. Now, he was caught at other schools basically learning signs. Harbaugh there's no evidence of Harbaugh or any of the other coaches or staff knowing about this dude. And as soon as this information comes out, Michigan fires him. Like, you're gone. You're out the window. And then, but the investigation was still going on, even though this guy is gone, even though this guy is fired. And then it turns out, still no hard proof evidence about it at all. Still nothing of like, oh yeah, this is concrete evidence. Jim Harbaugh should be punished. And then they decided to do a 3-game ban on Harbaugh, and possibly their only tough competition of the week. I wouldn't even call them tough, of Ohio State. He will not be at the game. We beat Penn State with no Jim Harbaugh. It's just
Okay,
really frustrates me.
Jacob, let me stop here real quick. And Penn State fans, you're about to get absolutely dunked on, and I'm not sorry about it. Okay, you guys didn't even need your head coach to beat Penn State. This is how awful Penn State is, okay? You guys, every year it's the same story with you guys. You're all hyped up, you're all going to make the playoffs, and then you play Michigan and Ohio State and sometimes Iowa, and you fall, and you suck, and you can't beat them. And like, can we just stop with this Penn State is good narrative? Like, don't get me wrong,
They're not.
okay? You beat the teams you're supposed to. You beat the Marylands, you beat the Northwesterns, you beat the Indianas. But every time you're in a big game, you lose. Even in bowl games. Like, even against teams that, you're meant to beat, you still lose. And I just... Can we stop with this, okay? You're the most overrated team in college football. It's not even close. Sorry to go off on a side rant, but I'm so sick of
Right
Penn State.
right next to Ohio State.
I mean, okay, they have a little bit more stake in their claim.
But anyway, going back to this, so Cole,
Yep.
like, just give us your main opinion on Jim Harbaugh being punished by being suspended for 3 games.
Here's my opinion, okay? The NCAA does not like Jim Harbaugh. I mean, it's been shown throughout this whole year, and it's
We don't know why.
Yeah, it's ridiculous. Like, so obviously it's weird. So there's a media bias that is Big Ten bias.
Yes.
There is a media bias that loves Alabama, and that's like the only other team outside the Big Ten they love. They love the Pac-12. They hate the SEC. Now, referees and people in the higher ups seem to love the SEC and not like anybody on the outside, more specifically Alabama and I guess currently Georgia, because they don't really love the whole SEC. Just going to be honest, as somebody who's in the SEC and is against this. But to me, I think it's ridiculous. I mean, you would never see this to Nick Saban. You will not see it against Kirby Smart. You will not see it against Lane Kiffin. Well, actually, that's a lie. You might see it a little bit. It might be like a slap on the wrist on Lane Kiffin, but they will not go after Lane Kiffin to the extent that they do for Jim Harbaugh. And it's complete bullshit. You won't see them, go down on Ryan Day at Ohio State. There's a reason.
No.
Okay, they all want to see Ohio State control the Big Ten. They want Alabama or, well, they don't even really like Georgia, but they kind of tolerate it. They want somebody like that to rule the SEC. Obviously not LSU because, they call everything under the sun against us, but that's another story for another time. The Pac-12 they just kind of like because it's fun football and there's really no defense, and I guess they like that. I don't know. In ACC, they don't even like Clemson, so I think they really just hate the ACC.
So you really have
in
no
general.
hope.
Yeah, no, ACC, they just kind of look at you and they're like, why do you exist again? So, no, I mean, that's my opinion on this whole thing. It's ridiculous. It's a joke. Jim Harbaugh will be leaving Michigan shortly, in my opinion, so he doesn't have to
believe he
deal with
should.
them.
Not only do I think he will, which, I'm a little towards him leaving maybe the year after this year, like next year. But I think he has a very good reason to leave this year, with the first suspension early this year about him, scouting for and in like COVID year, which yeah, that is, they did put strict guidelines out, but I'm sure there were other coaches that were doing that and they didn't really care.
Of
I
course.
don't I don't know whose wife got banged by Jim Harbaugh at the Big Ten or NCAA, but someone's very unhappy with him.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's unbelievable because, Ryan Day will get all the praise in the world for, like, where is Lou Holtz, if you remember the Notre Dame game. Where's Lou Holtz now? Like, what is he, saying about our team not being tough? And like, it's Ohio against the world. But Michigan could literally say the same thing, change Ohio with Michigan. Like, if he said Michigan against the world, I'm sure there would be some pushback to that.
They'd be like,
Like,
"Oh, dude, your team's good, and no one's really backing you up."
exactly.
So,
Michigan literally said, we're America's team because we keep getting like persecuted at everything. That was what
and
Harbaugh
still
said.
persevering.
Yeah, exactly. And like Stephen A. Smith, right away, he's like, no, it's ridiculous. We're not America's team, blah, blah. It's like, dude, why aren't you saying shit about any other team? You're going after Michigan because it suits your bias and it is sick.
Yeah. And Stephen A. Smith of Michigan should be banned from the college playoffs until Harbaugh is proven innocent. All right, let's change that into, let's put Harbaugh back into these games until he's proven guilty.
Yeah.
Because again, there is not any true evidence. He's not been proven guilty
And
at
isn't it
all.
amazing too? Like the whole court system is proven innocent till guilty. That's always how it's been. And now
But the
magically,
NCAA is like, oh well, he's
exactly, he's
he's
guilty right
accused of
off the rip.
something, and especially the law firm that even took into this case is somehow affiliated with Ohio State. It's either, I've heard stories of it being the law firm is owned by Ohio State's coach's like brother.
Right.
All like I've heard stories that, but each one of them are that they're affiliated with Ohio State, and that it's because of the record that Ryan Day has against Michigan, which he has not beaten Michigan. If you do not know,
In the last 2 years.
yeah, no, he hasn't beaten Michigan at
Well, in
all.
general, but yeah,
Yeah,
last 2 years especially.
which is the first time Michigan has beat Ohio State, which I will admit, for the last 10 years, we were not good. But none of that matters anymore when we're good now, which is,
Exactly.
yeah. So when you want to bring up, like, oh, Michigan just has to cheat in order to win games, you're not taking any information for yourself in. You're
No.
not you're not considering yourself, oh, as a football fan, as an objective person, you're just looking at it as like, oh, go Buckeyes. That's what you're doing.
Exactly.
If this
It's
happened to
sick.
Ohio State and like it's the same exact situation, even I would be like, yeah, this is kind of stupid.
Yeah, I mean, the team should not change the opinion. Like, Alabama, for example. Like, if this thing, I hate Alabama, for the record. Um, if this was happening to Alabama, I would not be like, oh yeah, they're guaranteed cheaters just because somebody said they're cheating. But it would not shock me if that ever came out because they, I mean, the writing's pretty much on the wall. Anybody with eyes can see it, except for the NCAA. They conveniently, put on their blinders because it's Nick Saban. But I mean, it's utterly sick what's going on in Ann Arbor, and it should not affect this team. I mean, is it JJ McCarthy's fault? That this guy ended up quote unquote cheating and isn't even proven to cheat, by the way. Is it
No.
Blake Corum's fault? I don't think so. Is it this
No.
defense? I don't, and they're pretty good. I mean, yeah, they, like I mentioned earlier, they don't play a whole lot of anybody, but for who they play, they got great stats. So I mean, say
Yeah.
what you want. And
Which is
they
what I've been
ended up,
saying, that
yeah,
when someone brings up their schedule, it's like, oh, they really didn't face anybody. I go, yeah, I admit that. They haven't really faced any good teams. But they've been winning in style. Like they haven't been like scraping on by with like a field goal. They've been putting up like 6 touchdowns a game.
exactly. And
And Ohio
also,
State is facing like a high school team winning by a field goal. It
yeah,
was
exactly. And they're number one in the nation, by the way, which is Well,
Yeah, that's
I
the
don't think
dumbest thing
it's
I've thought.
anymore. I was gonna say I don't think it's anymore, but I know they were number one last week, and it's like, look at the differences here between the Michigan game versus Penn State and the Ohio State game between Penn State, because there is a night and day difference, really. Michigan ended up winning 24-15, and now you at home you might be going, "Wow, that's really close. Like what could be the difference here?" Um Penn State got a touchdown in garbage time. So, take away the touchdown and you're still two possessions. Ohio State was fighting for their life and kind of almost I mean, you could say it was a garbage time touchdown again, but I mean, the difference is Ohio State quite literally needed to hang on to not fully lose. Penn State, in the Michigan game, it was just kind of a touchdown that was like, okay, you scored. Congratulations. Take a star.
Right.
Um, but yeah, I mean, that's my opinion on this. This is absolutely dumb. I cannot state that enough.
And one more thing before we go on to the next topic. The proudest feeling that I was seeing was that when all the Michigan players, even former Michigan players like Tom Brady, backing up Michigan's team when
Yep.
all this was going down. That was one of the best things ever. When JJ McCarthy typed bet and then Tom Brady retweeted it with his bet.
Yep. I
And
agree.
he's even betting on this game a Super Bowl ring to Ohio State if they beat Michigan.
Which they won't. I
Yeah,
little
yeah,
bit of
they
a
won't.
spoiler there.
But yeah, so in order to close the segment out, I'll just say one word: bet.
I love it.
Going on to the next section, though, we're going to talk about targeting for a little bit. And I feel like early in this year, there was like targeting was one of the only penalties that was like an objective yes or no. Yes, this was a targeting. No, this was not a targeting. And there wasn't even any like false flags really that oh no this was not targeting. Yeah, it was. No, it wasn't. And but the things that are happening now where it's like blatantly getting targeted and even being promoted on social media, like the Texans player who did it against the Bengals player on a kickoff,
Yep,
or was it
Irv
a
Smith, I think it was on a.
yeah
I thought
yeah
it was
yeah,
a passing play, but you might be right.
and I think it was a kickoff or a punt return where it was like an obvious penalty, and then the social media team was like promoting it, like look at how much of a beast this guy is. I'm like, dude, that's a fine.
Yeah.
He's getting a $40,000 fine because of this. Don't
Let
promote
me
this.
address the biggest one, and I think everybody knows what I'm gonna say. Jaden Daniels in the fourth quarter of the Alabama game. This was the most blatantly targeting ever. If you look up targeting in the dictionary, this is what comes up. Um, Literally, if you didn't see it, go back and watch that. Dallas Turner rushes in, leads and launches and takes out Jaden Daniels, gives him a concussion, and what do the refs do? They call unnecessary roughness. I'm pretty sure it was unnecessary roughness, and they don't even review for targeting. Now you might be thinking to yourself, okay, well, it's still a 15-yard
Yeah,
penalty. I
it's
mean,
still a
they
penalty. There's still like restrictions on that,
yeah,
but
well,
that's a huge difference
we need to
in like health.
as a whole, we need to have a talk. All college football fans, all people in the higher ups who make these decisions, we need to have a talk, because if that's not targeting, but then you fast forward to the LSU Florida game where Andre Sam literally makes a routine tackle and you're like, yep, targeting, thrown out the game. Like, how compare the two? I dare somebody who sees this put them together side by side and tell me one is targeting and one is not, and they got the call right. Because there is no shot in hell any football fan from any walk of life would tell me that that is not targeting. I mean, that was. If we're going by definition, that was clear as day. And then
Yeah,
on top of
there.
that, like, go even further back. Devin White. back to the LSU days when they were playing Miss State. He gets this weak ass targeting call that he couldn't play in the Bama game, and it wasn't even close to targeting. People would look at that and laugh. To this day, I still do. But go figure, we were playing Bama the next week, so of course you needed to take him out, and that was just sick. I mean, Alabama has the refs in their backyard. They get away with legal murder on TV, and it's okay. I mean, you can't make this stuff up. And then Colorado, this was another one. They were playing UCLA. Kid literally makes a clean tackle, and they call it targeting. And I think it was Shiloh Sanders, if I'm not mistaken. Somebody can correct me in the comments if I'm wrong. But my point being is, like, when are we going to have a definitive answer on what is targeting and when is it going to be called fairly? Because until you fix this problem, we're going to keep seeing injuries like in the NFL with Nick Chubb. The guy goes for the legs because he's taught if you make any sort of tackle, like anywhere above the leg, it's targeting. That's the message you're sending, and that's the careers you're ending. This is
Yeah.
ridiculous. Well, maybe not ending. I hope Nick Chubb's not ended, but I'm just saying it could
God,
lead to it.
you brought that video back in my head.
Mm-hmm.
With what's going on with my knee and then just being reminded of that. Ugh.
Oh, it sucks.
But yeah, like targeting I feel like is the only penalty that is truly like this is what it is. It's helmet to helmet contact when you like drive your helmet, the top of your helmet into another player, whether it be like right in the chest or the helmet, especially on the helmet, because that can neck damage, brain damage,
Yep.
skull fractures. Like we don't want that as much as we want, like, hitting to be back in the NFL, like good tackling. That is the one thing that we do not,
No, we
want
don't
as a
want
football fan.
headhunters.
Yeah, we don't want the Rams to actually like ram people with their heads because that's what they're doing. It's like a goat ramming into a person. I just don't get how debatable this is as a football topic. I don't even know why we
to
were
go to
even
your
talking
point,
about this.
the reason that it gets stupid is because we have targeting, we have the base, like what you just said, like head to head, crown of the helmet, yeah. But then we threw in, oh well, hitting defenseless players and things like that. Like when you throw in, like, you establish a rule, and then all of a sudden we have, oh yeah, but if you hit like a defenseless player, it's also targeting. Like, then we come to even more questions, and it's like, can we get an answer, please? Because what's next? Are we gonna add, if the ball carrier still tries to like lean in with their head to make it look like targeting, like should they be penalized for that?
If they
Like
try to make a tackle and they miss, is that targeting? Because they're targeting
exactly.
I do on a tackle.
At this point, just throw out the whole defense. Let's just have offense run their offense against error.
Because it's I wish I grew up in the era of football, which I did, but I didn't watch football at that when I was a kid.
Right.
Where cornerbacks or linebackers didn't have to go
Exactly.
like right after a tackle. Like they don't have to do this every single play.
Because refs
And
weren't
it's
sissies
stupid.
back then. I'm just being honest, man. I'm hot right now. I mean that kills me. I hate
God.
this rule.
I just said like I wish I grew up in the era. I just realized how many good players I missed.
So many.
As like a Detroit sports fan, I missed the Miggy
Calvin
years.
Johnson.
Not Barry Sanders.
Not Barry said what?
Matt Stafford, Calvin Johnson. I'm just self-reflecting at this point.
Oh yeah.
But yeah. But yeah, targeting you put it on paper, it's not like debatable.
No. But of course,
Like
people use their
holding is
bias.
like iffy depending on like what play you're looking at.
Right.
Roughing the passer is like still stupid 80% of the time. And holding pass interference is iffy, but targeting is that one play where you should be able to know, because this is not like, oh, he tackled the dude really late. You know, he was out of balance and he got tackled. This is like he needs to be taken out of the game, and the dude who got hit needs to be like reevaluated because that's a lot to like
Yeah.
take in. Like, there's difference between like, oh yeah, you got hit pretty good, and then it's like my neck hurts. Can I go home, please?
And also, I want to make a comment because I've seen this so much on Alabama people, like whether it be Twitter, Facebook, insert place here. Um, every time, like Alabama fans are gonna cry and cry about this forever, and they're gonna go, "No, it wasn't targeting because X, Y, Z, Z, Y, X." Like any fan of football should be able to watch that play and admit that it's targeting. Like it's not even close. So Alabama fans who do this, you're absolutely sick. Don't act all high and mighty because I guarantee you, if the roles were flipped, you'd be like, no, that wasn't target, or that was definitely targeting. Milrow got taken out. So let's not let biases get in the way here. Let's not let, being a fan of a team. I admit when LSU's wrong more than
Yeah,
anybody that I know.
we hate to
So
admit, but when our teams are doing something bad, but we have to admit it at some point.
hell yeah. I mean, face the music. What the hell are you afraid of? You've gotten away with every call since Saban's been there. You don't get a fair called game when you verse Alabama. Every dink dunk call goes your way. It's always been that since '07. So
Yeah,
I just
we
wanted to bring that up.
we just hope this call gets like some evaluation for the not just us as viewing and just getting mad like, oh, this wasn't this and that wasn't that, or yeah, that was that, of just safety for the players, because this is an actual like it could kill a person
Huge
if it was
problem.
like, yeah, this could fully well snap a player's neck if full
And
force was intended.
and if it doesn't get, brought up and talked about, then we are going to see a lot more injuries
Yeah,
and possibly even like
a death
bigger
happen.
injuries than normal. Yeah.
Yeah, we don't want to see another Damar Hamlin situation happen.
No, definitely
Yeah,
not.
but yeah, we really hope this gets evaluated so for the safety of our players.
Absolutely.
But we are ready to go on to week 10 of the NFL. There's one game that I'm gonna be really upset in, and I think you know.
I might have a guess.
But to start off with, the Panthers and Bears on Thursday Night Football. What a trash combination for
What
Thursday
a showing of football.
Night. Hey, this week though, it's the Ravens and Bengals, so we got a good we got a good game for this week. Anyway, but back to last week. Like, what can I even say?
Oh, this
Panthers
was
are worse than the
dreadful.
Bears, even though we thought the Bears were the worst team in the NFL. Turns out the Panthers are actually. Bryce
So
Young throwing for 185 yards, no touchdowns. I wouldn't even mind an interception just to have something happen in this game.
So here's what I'll say about this game, because I actually did get to watch this.
Oh,
I
this was
was
the game? Oh, I feel bad for you.
well, this wasn't the only game, thankfully. I watched
Okay.
like 2 or 3 this week. So hey, we were good. The reason is for whatever godly reason. Well, well, I don't know what type of reason here, but NFL wise, I only get like 3 games due to Hulu being like, you got to pay millions of dollars just to
Yeah,
watch
I think
every NFL
Hulu is
game.
like the regional type things.
Yeah.
I only get like some games. I get all Detroit games though.
Yeah, so I got to watch this one. This was Amazon, I think, if I'm not mistaken. So,
Hmm.
but it wasn't like it was just confusing. Like if you want to show
This game makes
somebody
my
a
brain hurt.
yeah, if you want to show somebody a football game that will get them to never watch another football game, show
Oh
them
yeah,
this
this is
one.
the one. Or the last year's Broncos and Colts Thursday night
Oh
football
yeah.
game.
Let Chef Russ cook, am I right?
Don't let him cook. He
Uh,
burnt the food.
I also feel bad for Pinheiro on that last kick. Just he had it for like 0.5 seconds and then it just veered off
And
and was
then
like, nope. So all in all, it's about what I expected. So not a whole lot to comment on for me. Just kind of Bryce Young tried to do his best. Tyson Bagnet tried to do his best. They both sucked, kind of. So it is
yeah.
what it is.
You think as a number one overall, like a number one overall rookie, you would think like, oh yeah, he would throw like maybe 200 yards this game. Nope, only threw 20 more yards
185.
than Tyson Baggett. Are you kidding me? And if anything, you want to know the number one receiver for this game?
Who's that?
DJ Moore with 5 receptions, 58 yards. with
That's sad.
with 9 targets out of the 5. This Bears team needs another draft pick. Needs like 15 draft picks, and then they can get like a 7-win season.
Yeah, I mean they are gonna get the number one pick. It looks like, so that's a plus.
But I'm not even saying no. You know who's likelier to get the number one pick? The Giants.
Chief is somewhere screaming.
Hey, they're getting Caleb Williams. So
I don't know if I'd want Caleb Williams anymore
as a
after him
Giant.
after him wanting like ownership in the company.
Oh
Or
yeah,
he did
yeah.
retract
I've seen
that,
that.
but
Yeah, that was kind of
still,
stupid. Yeah, he did.
that's what I
Yeah,
heard.
at least
I
he
heard.
retracted it.
Yeah.
But this is the NFL. So Bryce Young throwing for 28 out of 33, 21 out of 38 attempts, and then Tyson Bagant throwing 20 out of 33 attempts. Dante Foreman was the biggest help for Chicago Bears, scoring 80 yards with 21 carries
21.
and 1 touchdown. Dante Foreman has as much attempts at rushing than Tyson Bagant did as passing. The same amount as Bryce Young did passing. Like, I don't even know what to say. Can we just go on to the next game? I don't even know what to say about this game.
Please.
Going on to, I guess, an entertaining game. A game that I'm pretty upset at. The Browns versus Ravens game. Browns taking this one 33 to the Ravens 31. This gives me last year Ravens vibes.
Yeah.
Where
I see that.
Lamar and the offense put up, this great, momentum, this great lead. They were up by like 24-3, and then Ravens scored another touchdown, and then the Ravens defense does just lets the Browns march down the field with Deshaun Watson. And
also,
Kareem
I want to
Hunt.
make a public apology to Keontae Mitchell this week. I picked him up in fantasy. Hear me out, Ravens fans. Picked him up in fantasy. Thought nothing of it. And I was like, okay, he can sit on the bench for a week, whatever. This dude drops 13 point, 15 points.
Are you talking about Keaton Mitchell?
Yes,
he's a beast.
Dude,
and that's the biggest problem too, because in the first half he did great. Like he was doing amazing, and then after when they came back, he got like maybe 1 carry, and then they were done for.
In fantasy this week, and if I would have just put Mitchell in front of somebody who I'm gonna rant on later, so tune in for that. I would have won. I was literally Daniel Carlson from the Raiders almost pushed me over if he got one more kick, but that's like I said, we'll get there. But this game, just sad.
I don't blame the offense.
No,
I know you're gonna be like, oh well, Lamar threw 2 picks. One was off of a helmet. You can't avoid that.
Right.
I don't even remember the second one.
Well, here's my thing, right? Like the pick 6, that sucked. That was on him. The first pick, like the one you're talking about, okay, you know what? It happens. But I just don't get it, man. Like you had this great lead, because I was following it close because I have like a lot of these guys on fantasy between the two teams, and like I'm like, okay, this game's over. I literally walk away, come back, and I'm like, wait a minute, why is this close? And then all of a sudden, I see 33-31 Browns, and I'm like, what the
What?
actual heck just happened here? What? Also, it might be Deshaun Watson's. Well, it's his last game of the season because he's out for the year. But
Oh, of course. His first game
yeah,
back, and then he's out again. Great.
great pay extension there, Browns. Way to screw over Baker for nothing.
But I don't even think you can blame this Ravens offense. They did build a good lead, and the defense just could not hold the Browns offense, which they aren't even known for their offense. They're known for the
No.
defense for this season. It really upset me. Odell Beckham Jr. got his second touchdown as a Raven from Lamar Jackson, though, which I'm kind of happy for.
Yeah, so here's my advice to you, Ravens. Keep a lead, first off. That's like the first
Yes.
big thing.
I
Second
thought we
off,
fixed this from last year.
yeah, second off, run the football because I know technically it's 24, but if you look at your running backs, you had 16 attempts on the ground between all the running backs, between Mitchell, Gus Edwards, and Justice Hill. Only 16 all game. That can't happen. And then for the Browns, like to even win this game or to be in this game, I mean, how did that happen?
I
I'm
wish I could tell
genuinely
you
baffled.
there was a reason. Let's give it to Roquan Smith, though. 21 total tackles.
Yeah.
Roquan's a beast, man.
Oh, Roquan. I mean, he was
We
great
love
out
Roquan.
of college. He was great with the Bears, and he's continuing. So keep doing your thing.
And, hopefully he can make a team not go up by us when we're like 24-0 or 24-3.
Yeah.
Like this, the Ravens just continue to be so on and off. Like one week it's like, oh yeah, they're going to the Super Bowl. This is a great week. And then the next week we lose to the Browns. Which I'm not saying that we don't have hopes. There's still hopes that we could go to the Super Bowl. And I know I sound weird right now because I'm
Right.
a Ravens fan. But this has happened where teams have lost to a bad team and gone to the Super Bowl. The Eagles lost to the Commanders last
Well,
year.
I mean, Cleveland isn't bad, okay? I mean, they're not great, but I mean,
They're
6 and
still the
3.
Browns though.
True.
Isn't it weird to see Cincinnati at the bottom with a 5-4 record?
I did not see that coming.
But Ravens still are the number one with 7 wins, 3 losses.
Also, on a side note, real quick, can we talk about how weird it is? Like, and I've seen this in a bunch of NFL forums, I guess you could say. Well, Facebook with people talking about the NFL, and it's like two teams can have the same record, like the Bills and the Bengals, and literally the Bills are freaking out, and Cincinnati's like, whatever, we're still gonna win the AFC Championship, or get to that game at least. And it's like, to me, it's so funny. Like, I just don't get how one team is all concerned, and then the other team's like, yeah, we're cool.
We'll chill by. We're chill right now. Even though the Bengals are at the bottom of the division.
Right.
Imagine if the Bengals don't make the playoffs because they're at the bottom of this division.
My prediction
Oh
will
my
be toasted.
God.
I had them winning the whole thing against the Vikings. I mean, that
Hey,
really
I'm doing
floored
good
me.
right now. I predicted that the Ravens would be in this situation. But going on to the next game, though, because I don't want to talk about this any longer. Let's get to a happy thing for me.
Yeah.
Lions winning by the Chargers. No defense played in this game at all. Lions taking this in Los Angeles, 41-38. Give it up to the Lions, the kneecap biters of the NFL.
Can they change their mascot to the kneecap biters?
Dude, you see the Lions change their thing? Oh yeah, are they like, another big cat? Are they the knit near lions or something like that? No, they're the kneecap biters. But
I will say I was impressed with the Lions' offense. I was glad to see them evenly distributing Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs's carries because
yes,
they both played, really good. Jared Goff had some really nice passes. The defense, yeah, you might want to work on that because, well, it didn't
please
really
work on that.
show up. And then the Chargers too. I'll give props where it's due. I mean, Justin Herbert, 4 touchdowns, 27 completions. He literally was carrying the team. He's like, guys, don't worry, we'll score again. And the defense, he's like, can you just do your job for like one drive? And they're like, the best I can do is give up a field goal.
The best I
So.
can do is have them score 14 points on us or nothing.
Oh man. And
Hey,
also, just Keenan Allen is still really good. Austin Eckler
yeah,
is still really good.
even though they're getting up there with an age.
That is true. Yeah. So, all in all, if you love offense, go rewatch this game. If you're a defensive guy, avoid it like the plague.
I just don't understand how like none of these teams had any defense.
Yeah.
Like a team with Derwin James, probably the best safety in the league, and Joey Bosa.
I was wondering who's Jerry.
Who's Jerry? Yeah.
Jerry Tillery?
Like you got Eric Kendricks, Kenneth Murray, and shut up. I'm bad at pronouncing names when I look at them. Like I don't understand. But yeah, like what you said earlier, the sharing of the ball between David Montgomery and Jameer Gibbs, we were a little worried about that because when we drafted Jameer Gibbs, we were like, oh yeah, we're gonna feed him the ball like every game, every single play. And then we got this guy that we traded in the offseason for, and this dude is lighting it up. David Montgomery is lighting it up in Detroit. And then we're like, crap, what are we gonna do with Jameer now? And then Dave Montgomery got hurt for a week, and then we had to give it to Jameer, and then he popped off, and it's like mind expansion for Detroit. Just great things happening. And then we were like, oh man, are they going to be able to share the ball well? And this week was proving as a definitive yes for that question. Sharing the ball is going to be no problem in Detroit between Jameer Gibbs and David Montgomery.
Sharing is caring.
Sharing is caring. That's the Detroit motto. Like I'm sharing money. You're gonna give me your purse, and I'm gonna give you loyalty.
All right, let's go to the next one.
You're right. Next game, Patriots versus Colts. Patriots continue to not. So this game
physically hurt me.
This game took place in, wasn't it the UK?
Germany, I thought.
Oh, yeah, Germany, yes. And they for the promotion, they put a picture of Tom Brady and Tom Brady and Peyton Manning. And the comments were just like, dude, these teams suck so bad right now, you can't even put like active players on the poster.
Oh my goodness. I guess I'll talk first about
Please.
this. I know Patriots fans are getting a little up and at him about Michael Jackson. No, Mac
what?
Jones.
I'm surprised there still even are Patriots fans after this game.
Yeah, I mean, okay, before everybody tries to kill Mac Jones, because, believe me, Twitter's a hell of a page, you can't blame Mac Jones for this game. He played pretty okay, 15 for 20. He was pretty safe with the ball. One interception, which kind of sucked. But Patriots fans, I want to direct your attention to something real quick. Okay, Ramondre Stevens, he had 20 carries for 88 yards. Ezekiel Elliott had 13 carries for 54 yards and wasn't playing center, by the way. And together, they had amazing, they shredded the defense. So my question comes to the play calling. Why not use the running backs more in this game? I mean, to me, that just kind of makes sense. If you have a hot running team, why not run the football?
Yeah.
um, and then also, Patriots fans, before you kill Mac Jones, think about this: 5 sacks, five, 5 of them, and you're ready to kill Mac Jones. Like it,
Also, comparing to Gardner Minshew, that got
yeah,
zero
zero,
for the
yeah.
day.
In total, they gave up 9 QB hits, so 4 non-sacks on your quarterbacks. Okay, how do we draw this conclusion of just going, oh yeah, it's the quarterback, we need a new one? Like, this dude's literally running for his life, saying prayers, going, God, please don't let me die, and you're gonna blame him. I don't get it. And as for the Colts, I mean, what is there to say about this team that hasn't already been said? Like, they play with a lot of heart. They will fight against a team that they shouldn't and make it close. And then they play a team like this and only beat them by 4. And it's like,
Yeah.
can y'all
This
make up
feels like
your
a win.
mind?
This feels like a loss for the Colts more than a win, if
Yeah.
anything. Only beating the Patriots by 6 points. Well,
Bill
I mean,
Belichick
yeah.
is losing his mind with this team, too.
Yeah. And even though what you said about Mac Jones, how we shouldn't be blaming him, I do kind of blame him. I don't like Mac Jones in the slightest. And we've seen videos of the offensive coordinator just yelling at Max Jones was this is the funniest things I've
Look,
seen in a
I'm
while.
not saying to love the guy. I'm just saying, like, believe me,
Yeah,
I'm
it's
not a
not all of his fault.
yeah, I'm not a Mac Jones supporter either, but I'm just saying, like, please don't put it all on him when you got, 5 sacks, 9 hits in total, and just it. I don't think you can fully blame him.
He did throw the worst pass of the season though in this game.
That's very true.
If you've seen the video I posted in
That was
Discord.
horrible.
That was horrible. I remember seeing that. But yeah, this Patriots team, does this go to show that the Patriots' success was due to Tom Brady?
Okay, as much as I want to say yes, I'm still. I don't know. Okay,
Because
like,
take this.
uh,
Ever since he left, nothing. No,
well, yeah.
nothing heard of the Patriots.
I mean, you're not wrong. I don't know. Like, yeah, I think Tom Brady had a major part to play. I just don't get Belichick, man. Like, I don't know if it's a mixture of him falling off and players just not caring about, like, the things that he did, or him not, like, putting together the right pieces. I'm lost at this team. I don't know where the issues begin. I mean, aside from the O line, I mean, it's pretty obvious. Um, versus where the issues end and what exactly needs to be addressed again, aside from the O line.
Yeah, like you need to go into rebuild mode and not be like, we just didn't ever need to put him in.
Yeah.
Just didn't like. Can you answer the media and actually talk to us, Bill? Come on now.
But I do think it's Belichick's time to hang it up, because
Yeah,
this is just sad.
when it's coming to the who to hire for offensive coordinators, and you get Matt Patricia. No.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to take a step back for that one because you just had PTSD. Like, oh god, that did happen.
Not the Lions, remember.
Not the Lions remembering Matt Patricia. All right, I think we're going to go on to the most surprising game of this week. Cole,
Yep.
do you agree?
Let's roll the tape.
Bengals versus the Texans. CJ Stroud wills this Texans team to a good team.
So I will say this, in terms of fantasy, if you were following last week, I made a mistake in not starting CJ Stroud. This week I did not. I started Sam Howell and he had more points. So I just wanted to declare victory real quick on that.
And you still lost.
I don't want to talk about it, but yeah, I mean, first off, that was awesome. So I think I finally figured that out. Now, on to this game though. Like, I I don't know what to say in terms of what the heck that was. I mean, what is going on with the NFL? Like,
The
how
fact
did
that
the
CJ Stroud
Texans?
fumbled 2 times and lost both of them and somehow found a way to still win this game 30
Yeah,
to 27.
yeah, that's what I'm saying.
CJ Stroud might be the best quarterback rookie out of this draft class.
Oh, dude, I was saying that during the draft. Yeah,
But
quite literally, you can go
like
back
that was
to.
like pre-speculation, and like now we know.
Oh yeah,
Going into the second place in the division with a 5-4 record, right behind Jacksonville with a 6-3 record. CJ Stroud throwing 23 out of 39 attempts, 356 yards, average of 9.1 yards, 1 TD and 1 pick. Plus he fumbled 2 times and got sacked once. Joe Burrow, pretty similar, thrown for 27 out of 40, 347 yards. He got 2 touchdowns, but 2 picks for Joe Burrow and got sacked 4 times. This feels like 2020.
yeah. This is yikes. I mean,
This is
like,
not a year for the Cincinnati Bengals' O-line to be like highlighted a lot.
no, not at all.
Yeah. This it's just I was just so surprised. I was watching this game like just checking up on it daily,
They,
checking up on it once in a while, be like, oh yeah, Bengals are ahead a bit, and then it's like, oh wait, no they're not, no they're not ahead anymore.
Also, I want to thank Jamar Chase because I was like talking to my sister's husband and
Yeah,
I'm going, yeah, Jamar Chase is like sucking today. He's doing nothing. And then as soon as I come back, he has like a 60 some yard touchdown bomb. And I'm like, okay, I get it. Thanks, Jamar.
thanks Jamar, thanks for proving me wrong. But yeah, Jamar Chase and Tyler Boyd were like the biggest receiving players for the Cincinnati's offense. Tyler Boyd getting 117 yards with 8 receptions, and Jamar Chase getting 124 yards with 5 receptions.
Yep.
With only 5 receptions. That's insane. And then biggest receiving player for the Houston Texans, Noah Brown getting 172 yards from 7 receptions out of 8 targets too.
Yeah.
And Devin Singletary should be mentioned too, getting 150 yards with 30 carries and 1 TD.
And how about this defense too? I mean, I know at the end of the day you gave up 27 points, but like against
The hold off on
Cincinnati,
the end and you get the ball back to score that field goal
yeah.
was
I
just
mean, beautiful. Chef's kiss.
yeah. Just great job to both teams. Cincinnati just came out with the loss on this one, unfortunately. I hate when people say that this quarterback beat this quarterback, which I hate when people do that because they're not facing. It's not CJ Stroud versus Joe Burrow. It's
No.
CJ Stroud versus the Bengals defense and Joe Burrow against the Texans defense. Like Joe Burrow, like they had similar stats. If anything, Joe Burrow did better because he had 2 touchdowns, but he gave away 2 picks. So I don't know. They did kind of
Rankings
evenly.
too on the defense deserves a mention. 3 sacks.
Yeah. But yeah, overall, pretty entertaining game. Huge upset for the Bengals though. I've seen some guy win like $10 million when he betted on the Texans. Which, by the way, I also put my vote on the Texans, so I should have put in like $5 and won like $30 billion.
Facts.
Going on to the next game though, Josh Dobbs just continues to put a showing out on this Vikings team.
Oh,
When he was back in Arizona, I was even like, this guy, he isn't terrible. He's not doing terrible right now. And then he goes to Minnesota and just proves my point once again. First, it was last week against the Falcons, and now it's this week when he finally learned all the players' names.
He's like, throw to that guy? Okay.
Throw to this guy named Justin.
I mean, he's injured, so no
Yeah,
Justin yet.
shut up. We know. We know. We mess him.
I'm gonna say though, I think this was a better showing than I thought from New Orleans, so that was really cool to
Yeah.
see. Um, and as for Minnesota, I'm gonna ask you a question here on the side. Is Joshua Dobbs your franchise quarterback, or do you still, look in the draft, or do you still rely on Kirk Cousins?
I think Kirk's done. I think Kirk's retiring. Is he no? So I wouldn't answer yet because he's only played 2 games. He
Right.
doesn't even know his way around the locker room. Did you see the video of him getting like directions towards where the locker room is?
I did not see the video, but that sounds amazing.
He came off an elevator with like a security guard. And he's like, "All right, this way, all right," and then he just starts walking. How can you hate Joshua Dobbs?
I
But to answer your question, I would wait until the end of the season, and I pray he does not get injured, because then that just throws that question out the window of like, well, now we will never know because he got injured.
Right. But yeah, I mean, in terms of the Saints too, um, why is Jameis Winston like? Why are we even playing this game? In my opinion, like Derek Carr is your starter. Well, why even entertain the idea of Jameis Winston? I don't know. You know what I mean, Jacob? Okay, I think we had an internet crash, so yeah. Well, that's unfortunate. He'll be back, I'm sure. So, but to carry on with this segment, I just, I don't know why we're playing around still with Jameis Winston.
Some
You
internet
know,
difficulties, but yeah, I
dude, you
agree
should have
too.
seen it. You were literally frozen in the same spot, and I'm like, Jacob.
Jacob, you're scaring me.
It was
But yeah, I
literally
don't.
like the beginning to like a $5 horror movie.
But yeah, I agree with you. I don't get why we're trying to play around with Jameis Winston when we have
Derek
Derek
Carr.
Carr here. Did he get injured?
See, that's what I don't know. And if he did, then okay, I get it. But like, why not go to Jake Hayner then? Why not go to
Yeah.
the young guy?
No, and I go to the young guy and get a Joshua Dobbs like side by side.
Yeah.
I'm trying to see if he did because now I feel bad if I'm talking crap about this team. I can't see anything on it.
I was
But
gonna say I didn't think so.
uh, but this Saints team is still in rebuilding mode. I would have drafted, or I would have traded to get up there in the draft to maybe get a pretty solid quarterback. I know the quarterbacks this year just like taken immediately. Like there was nothing left at like the tenth pick, but I
Right.
still would have gotten something. I believe they would have gotten Hendon Hooker over Detroit. I think they
Yeah,
were before Detroit in the draft.
I know they got Jaron Hall out of BYU, but like he sucked at BYU. Like, what? I'm sorry to be mean, but like he really wasn't that good. Sorry, I would have rather had Hendon Hooker or Aiden O'Connell, Jake Hayner.
Going on to the next game though, Packers versus Steelers. I don't know how the Steelers are winning these games. Like I get it's the Packers and they're not like a big cup of wine or anything like that, but they're
What?
still They're still like Packers are an okay team. I think they're last in the North though.
I believe you're right.
Yeah, yeah, 3-6. They're the last, which used to be the Vikings. Now Packers took that spot for them. So thank the Packers Vikings. Um, this game, it was, even though it was close, it was pretty obvious that the Pittsburgh Steelers knew what they were doing. They knew what to do to get this win. Kenny Pickett throwing for 14 out of 23, 126 yards. Not the best performance we've seen out of Pickett this year. And then George Pickens, obviously being the best guy on there, getting 45 yards for 3 receptions. Again, it was not a very pass-heavy game, but Jalen Warren on the rushing and Najee Harris both getting, Jalen getting 15 carries, Najee getting 16, then Jalen getting 101 yards with
Wow.
Najee Harris's 82. This team, if they do this with this, back-to-back running back room, I think could potentially get in the 9-8 playoff spot, which is the joke, kind of how they are such an aggressive 9-8 team. Like,
Yeah.
they'll make such an effort just to go 9-8.
See, and that's what I don't get. Like Mike Tomlin,
Isn't a good coach.
he is a good coach, but I
That
just
Matty
again,
boy.
yeah, Matt Canada. I just like okay, if I can see it, and the rest of the fans, like, and I'm not a fan, but I'm just saying the rest of the Steelers fans, they can see it. They've been shouting for Matt Canada to be fired. Just listen to them. Go on Twitter, um, and yet nothing's done, and you're still winning. I genuinely don't know.
I
Is it
like
high
this
on
is probably the
talent?
most surprising team this year.
I agree.
TJ Watt continues to be the loudest player on this defense with 8 tackles and 1 sack. 8 total tackles.
That's not a surprise though.
Yeah, and 2 QB hits too. Just TJ Watt's a monster.
Yep.
Najee Harris also getting some receiving yards with 14 yards with 3 receptions. And then on this Packers team, it's just a lot of, like, you got Jordan Love who's throwing for 289 yards, which isn't, it's pretty good, but then throwing 2 interceptions and 2 TDs.
Yeah.
And then you got AJ Dillon out there and Aaron Jones, which I traded, and I'm telling you, Cole, that was a good trade.
As of now, yes.
He gets injured like every other week. But on this receiving team, you got Jaden Reed, Luke Musgrave, Romeo Daubs. And this Packers needs to go through a lot right now. Even though they did fleece the Jets with that trade with Aaron Rodgers, I still think that this Packers team needs a lot.
Yeah, I mean, I think some questions need to be answered in this offseason, especially on if Jordan Love is the guy, and then I think you need to go from there because realistically, this team is not awful, but they're not great.
No,
And
they're not
I
playoff potential, is what I would put
exactly.
them as.
I think if they had a quarterback at the helm that was like they fully trusted, because I really don't think they have all their trust in Jordan Love. I think at the time it was like, okay, we can draft him, we can try and mold him behind Aaron Rodgers, and he'll be ready by then. I think that was the thought process. And I think now that they get here, they're like, oh shit, he's not that guy.
Which,
Um,
it's pretty hard to. I kind of feel bad for him because he goes to, like, a really good, like, locker room leader in there. He goes from Aaron Rodgers to, like, a future Hall of Famer, no doubter. And then it goes to Jordan Love, and he's like, how do I fill these shoes in as, like,
right.
this, because he was known for, like, being a great guy in the locker room, just getting all these guys riled up, even though he was kind of like, he was kind of mean to them.
Well, yeah, and honestly, like, okay, there's two ways to go about this. If you say, yes, Jordan Love's our guy, you got to build around him. And
Hmm.
if you're not going to build around him, then it's just not going to work. But if you go, yeah, Jordan Love isn't the guy we thought he was, then you go for a replacement, and then you got to figure it out from there. So either way, it's not the easiest decision in the world. If you want my personal take, here's what I would do. I would keep Jordan Love for now, but I would draft somebody if the opportunity presents itself. Like, if, for instance, if we're sitting in the draft and your pick comes up and, there really isn't anybody that pops up on the board, like from anybody else position wise, I'm thinking like, okay, if Jaden Daniels is still there, I'm taking Jaden Daniels. If, you know,
JJ
well, not
McCarthy.
not Caleb Williams. If JJ McCarthy's there, I I might think about it. I'm not fully sold on JJ yet. I do think he's better than I thought he was initially. I'm not
He
quite
definitely
there
has
yet.
improved from last year, and
Absolutely.
that's all I'll say about Michigan because we're still in the NFL.
And then the other like people that I would be like, okay, if Drake May is still there, I would think about it and I'd probably more so do it because, he's pretty good. If Riley Leonard's there, I'm doing it, but that's about it. Right as of right now. Like anybody else, I'm kind of like, okay, let's go best available. Let's get somebody else. Let's not force again on a quarterback. Um I think that's got to be the mentality of Green Bay. But the Steelers, it's an obvious fix. Just fire Matt Canada, please. I know he's winning technically, but you're not going to do anything serious with him.
Right. Going into the next game though, Titans versus Bucks.
Oh,
I'm
this
gonna I'm
game
gonna
made
I'm
me.
gonna ask you a question.
Yeah.
Did we jump the gun on Will Levis?
No.
Did we see him do amazing things last week and then like, oh dude, this is the guy. Get rid of I already put the original Titans quarterback out. Oh, Ryan Tannehill.
Ryan Tannehill.
Get Ryan Tannehill out of here. Put this guy in. And then he puts nothing up for this game.
Here's why I say no. Tampa Bay has a phenomenal defense. I mean, we knew this coming into the year. They got so many good guys that are just so consistent and so experienced that if you throw a young buck like Will Levis in here, the fact that he had 199 yards, yes, he had an interception, that kind of sucked, but then 4 sacks for 32 yards, I mean, that didn't help. Not to mention you couldn't run the ball. You had 16 carries combined between Derrick Henry and Tajay Spears, and you only had 42 rushing yards combined. That's, if you can't run the ball with a young quarterback and give him any sort of help, he's not going to perform well. So, definitely didn't jump the gun in my opinion. I think Will Levis is the guy in Tennessee still. Um, if he can, continue to make strides and continue to figure out defenses in the pro level, which I think he will, he's going to be fine.
Yeah. And by the way, uh dude, Will Levis got like smacked this game. He got the 4 sacks, but then QB hits 13 for the
Yeah.
Bucks. 13 hits for on the quarterback for the Buccaneers. They did not go hard. They did not go easy on Will Levis. I think this is Will Levis's like you know how rookies talk about like, oh yeah, this is the NFL. It's actually hard.
Baptism by fire.
Yeah.
Welcome to the NFL, Rook.
Yeah, this was that game where
Absolutely.
it was like, oh, you guys had a good game last week, but let's see how you do against an actual pretty solid defense. Hits you like 20 times. Jesus.
Take
And
the
I'm gonna say
wheel.
this about the Bucks team. Why wasn't Baker Mayfield on comeback player of the year?
Yeah.
At
I
least
don't know why.
nomination. Because he's doing pretty good. Even though their record isn't like, eye popping as a 4-5 team. He's doing pretty good. He got 18 out of 29 attempts, 278 yards with 2 TDs but 1 interception. And this team is not, letting him not get that help either with Mike Evans, Chris Godwin, Rashid White. Just that's Chris Baker Mayfield should at least be in the talks for comeback player of the year if this team does continue to do successfully.
Exactly. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, Damar Hamlin coming back from what he did, that was, awesome. But, like, Josh Dobbs should be one, in my opinion. And
Yeah,
Baker Mayfield should definitely be, like, three. Because, I mean, okay, as of right now,
at
Hamlin's
least in the
still
talks is
operating.
what I'm saying. Not
Yeah.
winning, but in
No,
the
I
talks.
agree. Yeah, compared to like, everybody looked at this QB battle and was like, yeah, they're going to be the worst team in football, to being here and having like legitimate talks about maybe even being a playoff team.
Yeah, maybe even
That's
a
huge.
sneaky 7th seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. Which I don't think they'll go far in the playoffs, but even being in this playoffs when you were considered to be one of the worst teams next to the Cardinals for this season,
We
that's
nailed the
pretty good.
Cardinals, by the way. Just wanted to say that.
All right, maybe the Giants next to the Giants this season. We don't like talking about it either, but we have to in a little bit.
Yep.
Going to the next game though, Jaguars versus 49ers.
This
I
game
think I'm gonna keep the 49ers defense.
Don't
Cole.
blame you. Don't blame you.
So I was gonna trade my 49ers defense to get Baltimore's defense from Cole. I'm pretty happy I didn't. When 49ers traded for that D lineman, I cannot remember his name.
Chase Young.
Yes. They were like, "Oh, dude, Nick Bosa. They're like, it's gonna be the best D line," and I was like, it's hard to be a D lineman, especially 2 on one line. And
Right.
then this team went off. That D line is gonna be the best this season in football, and I don't even know how they have so much draft capital to get these players, but man, this is just insane to look at as a fan of football. I feel bad for the
Yeah.
Jaguars. I honestly do. I feel bad for T-Law.
See, the thing that kind of baffles me about this game is like, you look at both these teams and you're like, man, this should be a competitive, exciting game. And then you get this.
Nope.
And,
Nope.
I give props to where it's due. I mean, San Francisco, they played a phenomenal game.
Yeah.
Everything was working in their favor. Um, but from the Jags, I'm really disappointed because it's like, you kind of Dallas Cowboys us. I mean, we were expecting, so much from this team, and it still can happen. But with a
Yeah.
game like this, it really makes me question, like, is this just a big game thing with the Jags? Was this a one-off? Like, where exactly do we stand for Jacksonville?
I disagree. I disagree humbly. Just because Jacksonville has been getting nothing talked about them, and they're 6-3. They have the same record as some of the best teams in football as
Right.
people are talking about, but nobody is talking about them. Just the 49ers defense is that good, and so is their offense. Brock Purdy scoring 3 touchdowns and 296 yards. Christian McCaffrey doing Christian McCaffrey things. George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Christian McCaffrey. This should be the best team of football. It really should be.
True.
And it's just not happening a lot. And they went on that little losing streak a little bit ago, and then they're finally back. And this is when to show it. This is how they show it, by
See,
humbling Jacksonville to the ground.
the thing to me, too, that a lot of people brought up a while ago was, is Brock Purdy the guy? And I know we answered this, briefly, but this year is really going to have a massive impact on that statement. Like, depending on how far San Fran goes this year, people are either going to go and laugh and be like, yeah, we told you Brock Purdy wasn't anything. Like, if they get out in the wild card or in the divisional, that is going to be the talking point. But
Hmm.
if they go further, maybe losing the NFC Championship game or the Super Bowl, then it's going to be like, okay, he kind of has our respect. But if he wins the Super Bowl, then people are gonna be like, yeah, okay, he's definitely that guy. Or there's gonna be haters that are like, yeah, put me in that offense. I could do the same thing.
Yeah, I'm getting so sick and tired of like any accomplishment this guy does, and it's like, oh, it's a team around him, dude. Team around him
Yep,
is just that's good. Like, yeah, I get it. It's like an amazing team. Can you give him at least some props though? He's making gorgeous passes.
yep.
You like,
19 for 26.
yes. And I don't care how open these receivers get. You need to be a good quarterback to make these like perfectly placed throws right into wide receivers' hands.
Yeah.
I'm getting, I don't know if you are too, but I'm getting so sick and tired of like any accomplishment this guy gets, and it's just like system quarterback, dude.
That's
What
why I
you get
brought
with
it up.
system. Yeah, I hate it because I like Brock Purdy. I think it's just such a great thing for like Mr. Irrelevant to be like him.
Agreed.
And then anytime he does something good, it's like, well, team around him, dude. It's like, no, can you praise this guy for once in your life?
And it's
God,
it's also
it
like
just really
too,
frustrates me.
why is it all of a sudden like when they were on their losing streak, it was like, oh yeah, it's Brock Purdy. But now they win and it's like, yeah, it's the
Oh, dude,
team.
Brock Purdy's the best, bro.
No, they don't even say that. They're just like, yeah, the team carried
Yeah,
Brock
dude, team
Purdy.
carries Brock Purdy. And Christian McCaffrey, dude, he's just such a beast, man, which he is. But
Oh
like,
yeah.
dude, George Kittle, Brandon Ayuk, Debo Samuel,
In
Kyle
my
just like,
opinion, McCaffrey should be the MVP. So,
yeah. But Brock Purdy does deserve some props too.
yeah.
Maybe not MVP, but
No,
definitely
no,
deserves some
no.
talking. Definitely
Let's
deserves some
not get
talking too.
crazy.
But yeah, I really hope that he has. I really hope one game in the schedule he has like 7 touchdowns, and they're really hard passes, and he's getting pressured the whole time. And then I can't wait for people to go like,
It was the wide receiver.
yeah, it was the wide receivers. They get open like down the field right as soon as the ball snaps.
Yeah.
I cannot wait for that game to happen and just silence everyone that's saying all that stuff. Going to the next game though, Falcons versus Cardinals. Cardinals win the second game, just dousing me and Chooch's 0-17 season. I really wanted them to go 0-17. I wanted to see them happen, but it's not going to. Especially when you have a team like the Falcons that insists on Bijan Robinson running the ball 22 times and getting 95 yards.
Also, that Kyle Pitts guy only getting 3 receptions. Still not
Fantasy
over.
football, dude. Fantasy football.
No, but okay, like I didn't even start Kyle Pitts this week, so I would be happy with this. But what pisses me off is still like he has so much God-given potential and talent, and you're like, we'll only feature him like 5 total targets. It's like him and Drake London are the 2 most robbed people in football today, and it's not even close. It's just sad.
Yeah, especially when you have a quarterback like Tyler Heineke and Desmond Ritter throwing you the ball.
Yeah.
Tyler Heineke got a touchdown and then Bijan got one.
But what
And then
made me like weird about this game though, it's like Heineke gets a touchdown and they're like, okay, you done enough. No more passes for you. And it's like he
yeah,
just got a touchdown. Why? Ugh, I don't know. I
I
don't.
think the biggest comeback of this game though is Kyler Murray coming back from the ACL injury that he had a while ago.
That was weird.
And yeah, it was fun to see him back. He had a lot of aiming accuracy with Call of Duty practicing. Played a
That new
lot of Madden.
MW3 dropped and he looked good.
Yeah, dude. I bet he, dude. I think he complicate. I think he like was like thinking like, dude, new Call of Duty drops. Should I say I'm injured? Should I break my leg again? But yeah, Kyler Murray did. He did okay. I'll say
I'm
it.
just gonna say too, and this is like the only time I've talked gaming on this channel, so take it for what it is. I've seen people play the new MW3, not impressed.
Yeah,
But
me neither. I heard it was terrible too.
we'll go into that. Maybe we'll do a gaming episode where we'll just talk about games. I don't
JCP
know.
plays.
Yeah, something like that.
We do have a Twitch. We need to start doing stuff on there.
We do.
But Kyler Murray getting 249 yards with 19 out of 32 attempts, 1 interception, and I don't think he got even a rushing touchdown. Yeah. Oh yeah, he did. One rushing touchdown. 6 carries for Kyler Murray with 33 yards. So Kyler Murray is back to being the average quarterback at Arizona.
Pretty
So
much.
I guess we can be happy about that.
Yay!
I miss Josh Dobbs.
But now he's doing better things.
Now he's on a competent team now.
At least he didn't get like thrown into the quarterback abyss that many do.
Yeah. Oh, but dude, I don't get what it is with this Falcons head coach. I really hope he gets fired. I'm not gonna lie.
So justice for Kyle Pitts and
because I get if you don't like fantasy football. I get as a player and as a coach, you just get these annoying questions. Dude, you should run this guy more so I can win fantasy. I get that, but when you're denying talent like Drake London and Kyle Pitts, it's just stupid. And I get we want to run the ball with Bijan Robinson, but after 22 times and only getting not even 100 yards, let him breathe. let him breathe for a second. With all this stuff going around too, that like Atlanta's Bijan Robinson was like hurt a little bit, and he was still having to go out there. It was just Atlanta's a mess right now. They need to get their stuff together. Overall, pretty entertaining game, as I would say. Close games like these usually are entertaining. I just don't find the Cardinals that interesting as a football team.
The best game that nobody watched.
Yeah, the best game that literally no one cared about. Except for the 62,861 people that were there.
I like how that's nobody anymore, too. Like, nobody cared.
Dude, you guys didn't have 200,000 people go to your event?
That reminds me, like, again, we're jumping around here, but that reminds me of like when I used to watch like WWE and AEW, and you had people that were like, "Haha, didn't even hit 1 million views." I'm like, you still got
1 million
like 900K.
Let accomplishments be accomplishments.
Yeah.
Going on to the next game, though.
Can't even hit 1 million.
You want to tell Chooch about this next game, Cole?
Want me to give him a call?
Giants. You're getting Caleb Williams. You're getting Caleb Williams.
I still think it's gonna be the Bears, but
imagine the Panthers get the number 1 overall pick again and get Caleb Williams, even though Bryce Young was drafted.
Yeah, they trade back with the Bears. They're like, hey, actually, we want that 1 pick.
We'll give you Bryce Young for the 2nd overall pick.
Just don't take Caleb, okay?
Just don't take Caleb. Where to go? What?
Okay, so real quick, I'll start in this one because for the last however many weeks, the Giants have not passed for over 100 yards, and I'm like really concerned because like how you have 4 quarters, 60 minutes, and you can't throw over 100 yards.
Remember when we thought this team was good?
Oh yeah, dude! I thought this team was winning the division.
I didn't think they were winning. I thought they were going 2nd, but now they don't even have a chance. They don't even have a chance of getting 3rd.
They don't even have a chance at a playoff berth. They're 2-8. Like, I know technically if they win out, they technically could, but like they're not winning out. They'll be lucky to win another game.
Props to
And
Tommy DeVito though for getting 2 TDs. I'll
I was
say
gonna
that.
say this is no rip on Tony DeVito, or Tommy DeVito, because like he's out there doing literally
He
everything he
is
can.
doing the most for this Giants team.
Him and Saquon Barkley deserve like huge raises because they're literally like, team, we're gonna try, okay? Y'all might suck and do nothing. We're gonna try to carry you.
This nothing of an O-line and this nothing of a defense. You guys just sit back. We can score 17 while they're scoring 49.
Yeah. 7 QB hits, 5 sacks. Like, okay, somebody seriously needs to help me here because this O line for the Giants, personnel wise, is really good. You have Evan Neal, you have Andre Thomas. Like, okay, 2 of the best tackles in football, and you're still giving up these numbers? Like, what? Am I crazy? Like,
Hey, their Madden 25 ratings are going to be horrible.
oh my goodness. I just don't get it, dude. Like, you have a good old line, and for some reason they do they not mesh? Did somebody screw somebody's like girlfriend? Like what? I don't I don't get it. You got John Michael Schmitz, who's an amazing center, rookie center, so like maybe some miscommunications or something. I don't know. You got, like I said, 2 best tackles in football should be. You got Ben Brett Bredeson, who's an okay guard, and Justin Pugh, who okay, he sucks. I mean, honestly, why is he still playing? I don't know. But if I know it's not a one player thing. Like I genuinely know that one player is not holding this O line back. They should still be dominating, and they're embarrassing to watch.
You know what annoys me the most about these games
What's
is that the
that?
Cowboys fans are going to be like, dude, we're the
We're
best,
bad.
man. Scored 49 against the Giants, the worst team in the NFL right now, bro. It's like, that's
That's
like,
so
you
accurate.
know what Dak Prescott thinks whenever he faces the Giants? He gets like, dude, I get to act like a dad at Thanksgiving.
Also, I just wanted to point this out because I saw Mississippi State's Twitter. Because if you don't know, they fired their coach, and so did Texas A&M. But I'm not going too much on that. I just wanted to bring it up. Which, if you didn't know, Dak Prescott was a Mississippi State alum. He went there. He was really good there. And they're like, "Oh, he's the best quarterback, 4
Oh,
touchdowns." And
no.
I'm like,
Brock Purdy will
"Guys,"
walk miles on you.
I was like, "Guys, you do realize that he played the Giants?" And they're like, "Yeah, he's amazing still. I don't care." And I'm like, "It literally is the worst team or one of them in football.
That's like
Let's
if the
pump the
Eagles faced the
brakes."
Cardinals and was like, dude, Philadelphia, man.
Rock on, Jalen Hurts.
It's like, no. But I
So
am glad
sad.
Eagles fans are getting slowly bearable, and I love it.
It's
I think
so
it's because of
weird.
Jason Kelsey.
It's gotta be.
Did you see that they're coming out with a Christmas album? I'm being dead serious. They're doing a
Oh
Christmas
my
album.
goodness.
Jason Kelsey's singing.
Wow.
And their left tackle, I forget his name. He's he was he was the rugby player on there. I think you know who I'm talking about, right?
Oh yeah, oh, what's his
He,
name? It's
yeah, you know
eluding
what
me.
I mean.
Malata.
Yeah, Mulata. He's an actual like singer. He's actually like he's done singing before. Like he's made albums.
So this is great. You know, Jason Kelsey will get people to like Philly. He will be a singer, and he's gonna be the best man at a wedding. I mean, what?
And he was nominated Sexiest Man of the Year. Like, dude,
Yeah,
Jason Kelsey is him.
what a year for Jason Kelsey. Round
Yeah,
of
give it
applause.
a. We're not even talking about the Eagles. They were on a bye week.
Even when they're on a bye week, they still get a mention. How about that?
Dude, I'm actually liking the Eagles. I never thought I would like the Eagles.
I'm not quite there yet, but I'm slowly getting there.
Yeah, you
All right,
can't
let's
hate
go to the
Jason
next
Kelsey.
game. These
Yeah.
people have been tortured enough with the Giants.
Going to the Commanders and Seahawks game. Seahawks taking this win 29-26 against the Commanders. Geno Smith just, yeah, being Geno Smith.
The weirdest quarterback in the NFL.
Throwing for 31 out of 47 attempts. This guy is like 98 years old. You're making him throw 47 times. When you have a pretty okay running back room,
Yeah.
I don't think that's the move.
Bless.
369 yards and 2 TDs, getting sacked one time. So the Seahawks are doing pretty good for themselves, being where is it? Second in the division, tying with first with San Francisco, but we know who's better. We all know who's better in that division.
Oh yeah.
That's San Fran's. That's San Fran's.
Well, I will say this though, like, you know, these two teams, I know like the record differential is different, but these two teams to me mirror each other. Like,
Yeah.
they both have pretty good / okay defenses. Quarterback play, like Sam Howell's obviously better than Geno in my opinion.
Mm-hmm.
And
Running 3
running back room,
touchdowns, 29 out of 44, 312 yards.
yeah. And then running back rooms, like, to me, they're fairly similar. Like, Chris Rodriguez is really good for Washington. Brian Robinson's really good. Antonio Gibson. And then for the Seahawks, like, Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet, you know, like, DJ Dallas, I think he's still there. He's okay. Like, these two teams are literally the same.
I will say this. Seattle does have a better receiver room with DK Metcalf, Tyler
If
Lockett,
they would use DK Metcalf, I'd agree.
Jackson Smith, Najigba.
Yeah.
I think Seattle does have a better receiving room. But
on paper, yes. If they use DK Metcalf more, I'd completely agree. But they used him this week, so I can't be like fully mad.
Yeah, 7 receptions, 98 yards for DK.
Yeah.
I don't know what it is with these. Like, how do you throw the ball 47 times with completing 31 out of them, and then you go to your wide receivers and go, oh, none of them passed 100 yards.
Yeah.
Like, I like spreading the ball. I like everyone getting a chance to carry the ball, but not having one receiver go over 100. You got Brian Robinson at receiving room going 119 for Washington. Right. Both of these teams played their heart out in this one. You can tell. Like, you can tell when two teams are just playing their heart out. And this was that game this week.
Yeah, and also on top of that, like, I'm very disappointed with Washington's receiving room because between Jahan Dotson, Curtis Samuel, and Terry McLaurin, they had 6 receptions. 6 out of those 3, and those 3 are really good. And then on top of that, you might be going, oh, okay, well, maybe they, had 6 with, like, pretty good receiving yards. No. Not at all. 39 combined out of those 3. 39 yards. And Jahan Dotson, guess how many catches he had? 0! Like, what in the actual heck? Like, okay, you tried.
Hey, he got 2 targets. That's something.
Sad. But no, I really wanted that to be said. Like, I don't know if Terry McLaurin has fallen off of a massive cliff or not, but like, he only went 4 for 33. Curtis Samuel, I honestly, at this point, trade him. If you're not going to use him, just get rid of him. Get some value. And then Jahan Dotson, he is your young guy, and he got 0 catches. 0. Oh my goodness.
It sucks to see a rookie that you really want to see. Like, you watch him go from college.
Year guy, but yeah.
Yeah, same thing. Going from college and goes to the NFL. And then they don't use him at all.
Exactly.
Going on to the next game, though, Jets versus Raiders.
Oh, do we really have to talk about
I do want to skip this. Can we have a vote?
No, I mean,
we have to talk about it.
We can't cheat the people as much as I want to for this game. we gotta talk about it. So let's talk about it.
One touchdown scored this whole game.
This was painful. Being
This
a
I
Raiders
didn't watch
fan,
this.
th- I
Hey,
did.
I will say this. I will ask this.
Mhm.
Is this a turnaround for the Raiders?
See, okay, so that is the one positive. Yes, it is, in my opinion. Aiden O'Connell is finally getting the love he deserves. I told y'all, heading into the draft, he was the third best quarterback in the draft, and he's showing it. So that's nice. But what I will say is, Josh Jacobs did his best,
Yeah.
116 yards. Devontae Adams actually got featured for once.
Are
Way to
you
go.
kidding me?
Yes.
Dude, claps to Devontae Adams. Did you see after the game he was like dancing around the locker room with a cigar?
Yes,
That
he
was the
he
I'm being dead serious. That was the first time I've ever seen him smile.
yeah.
Like
Yeah.
in any interviews, like videos, promotion, I've never seen this guy smile.
Ever
After this
since
win,
they stopped playing Garoppolo for O'Connell, he has been happy, and I don't blame him. He has a quarterback who actually knows how to get him the ball. Thank God.
I feel so good for Devontae Adams.
Yeah.
So
Now
amazing.
what I will say is this Raiders defense, man, like they did really good. I will say I'm kind of saddened by the pressure. They didn't get a whole lot of pressure. They only got 2 sacks and 5 QB hits, and like against the Jets, like I don't know, it just doesn't sit right with me. And also Jets, like you
When
got
are
a
you going
player
to
like
come to terms? Hold on.
oh good.
When are you going to come to terms that Zach Wilson sucks? Because Aaron Rodgers goes down and then Zach Wilson comes in. Okay, I get it. He comes down. He goes down. That's the only guy that you got. And then you persist to be like, nope, that's our guy, dude. That's our guy. And
Like,
then
could
you
you
continue to
imagine if they got
lose.
Josh Dobbs? This team might actually be a legit playoff team.
I don't even care if they traded for anybody. There's so many quarterbacks that they could get. You got Colin Kaepernick, who has not stopped training since he's not been in the NFL. You got Colin Kaepernick. You got Sam Darnold at the time. You got Andy Dalton. You have what was Sam? God,
Andy
it's
Dalton.
at the time.
Well, yeah, okay.
Like I don't get the Jets OC being like your whole issue last year was that your quarterback sucked. Zach Wilson sucks. He still sucks.
Yep.
Okay, I don't care if you win 4 games. He still is garbage. You need hot blondes to be at your stadiums for him to do decent.
Donna Kelsey.
Down to Kelsey. All jokes aside, though, you need to come to terms that having another quarterback is okay. Having a quarterback that doesn't look like he's from middle school is okay. It's ridiculous that the amount of times they were like, "Oh no, Zach's our guy, dude." It made me furious because I believe in this Jets team. I thought they could fully well go to the playoffs and maybe go deep in the playoffs, but no, they're going to go third in the division. For incompetence of signing a different quarterback other than keeping Zach Wilson.
And the only reason you're third, well, one of the main reasons you're third is because the
The
Patriots
Patriots are
quite
awful.
literally suck.
You would fully well be last if this was last year.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's so sad. That's the saddest thing. A team with Aaron Rodgers and then he goes down. He might come back. Did you see that?
I did not know.
A-Rod is like walking fine. He is
Ooh.
okay. You haven't seen all those videos of him just walking normally?
Dude, I have been very just like I
I'm,
have not been looking into the
he's
Jets because
walking
they've
better
just
than
been
me.
so sad. Oh wow.
He's walking better than me. He had an ACL tear. I had a knee dislocation. He's walking better than me. And no crutches. He has no crutches on at all. He doesn't even have a boot on, and he's throwing the ball.
Yep.
Like you can see him before the games, just airing it out to people. It's insane. He might come back later this season. I would not.
No, I unless
You're not gonna be in the playoffs. Just admit that.
see that's what I'm saying. Like, okay, unless you put him in a spot to where like, okay, win out and it's playoffs, don't bring him back.
Hmm. The only chance I would consider him bringing him back is like you guys have like 8 losses. You
Yeah,
need the couple more wins to get in the playoffs, and then you bring Aaron Rodgers in. Don't put him in for the full game. Alternate, because you don't want that thing to snap again, and then him
definitely
just
not.
die. But yeah, this Jets team, it's okay to be honest with yourselves. Don't be like the Titans when they were keeping Ryan Tannehill in the games.
Oh,
Don't be
we're
like that.
fine.
We're fine. We're just letting a wide receiver throw the ball. Speaking of wide receivers throwing the ball, Garrett Wilson actually had a passing attempt.
I did see that. They got so fed up with Zach Wilson that they let a wide receiver pass.
Which, by the way, this is weird. He has zero. He's 0 for 1, 0 yards, 0 touchdowns, 0 interceptions, 0 sacks. Has a QBR of 5.3.
How does that work?
He should go down if anything because he didn't even pass. He didn't even make a completion.
Was it a completion? Yeah.
But we're ready to go on to our last game though. This might be the upset of the week. Bills versus Broncos.
Oh no.
Broncos taking this win 24
Okay,
to
so
22.
I'm gonna drop a spoiler because I don't want people to be like, oh well, why was his so short on this game? I'm gonna talk about the Bills, just
Okay.
not in this segment as much, because I'm gonna save a lot of what I have to say for that. So I will say this will be my game version of that. Um, Bills, I mean, you played okay. You should have did better. You should have won. First off, I mean, like, how do you lose to the Broncos? Um, yeah, Bills. I'm not finished with you. I'm. You're gonna get it in the next. Well, not next segment, but the segment after that. A little bit of a spoiler. You're getting it. So yeah, just know
Whoa
that.
there.
And as for the Broncos, I mean, congratulations. You were there. Yeah, you didn't play impressive. You did okay. Russell Wilson actually cooked for the first time in
Russell
like
Wilson did great. Yeah.
yeah, Russell Wilson actually cooked. Um
24 out of 29 passing attempts.
yeah. Javonte Williams did okay. I mean, 21 for 79. If you're getting 20 carries, you want to break the 100 mark. I get it. But for what it was, he did good. And this
Mhm.
defense, I mean, hey, you forced 2 picks. So, I mean, you're doing something right. So, I guess keep trying to go in the right direction, even though I really doubt you will.
Yeah, this
Sorry.
defense still, we talked about, we don't know what's wrong with this defense.
And if it weren't for a penalty on Buffalo, you would have lost.
Yeah. 13th man or whatever. I seen a video. It was like when they realized the 13th man was DeMar Hamlin.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Oh, I can imagine the hate comments.
Uh, I'll take this one, most of it, the majority of
Please.
it though, because Russell Wilson did good, airing the ball out to everybody. Cortland Sutton was easily the best one though. With that catch in the end zone, I don't know if you've seen, but there was a
Yep.
catch in the end zone that he barely got his foot in there, but he did. Like I'm not saying barely as in like he barely got it
Barely.
in, but it was like really tight. Jerry Judy continues to be unimpressive with 3 receptions for 35 yards.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't think Jerry Judy is him.
Sadly.
Yeah, sadly, I had faith in him, but after the beef with that one player, God, he was the Panthers wide receiver that went to Baltimore. I cannot remember his name.
Robbie Anderson.
Was it that?
Yeah.
Okay. Because like after that confrontation, I was like, okay, Jerry Judy, you're not on the nice list anymore. You're not getting any gifts from. You're not getting any praise from Santa anymore. Call me Santa, and you'll be enough because you will not get any praise from me, Jerry Judy.
Oh, that's great.
Corton Sutton, on the other hand, you get all the Christmas gifts for this year. You are getting as much as possible.
Get in there.
Yeah, 8 receptions for 53 yards. Doesn't sound great, but when you realize like Russell Wilson passed the ball to literally everybody except Lucas Kroll and Marvin Mims Jr.
Who? No. I picked up Marvin Mims like 3 weeks ago in fantasy and saw how bad he was being misutilized, and I was like, yeah, I need somebody else.
But this Buffalo Bills team, how are you failing? I don't know if it's coaching. I think it's chemistry most of the thing because I don't know if you've seen Stephon Diggs posted something on Instagram basically calling out Josh Allen.
Yep.
And when Stephon Diggs is your number one receiver and then you and the quarterback are not getting along, that's a huge problem. Yeah. Like that's your number one receiver and then
he only had 5 targets too.
Yeah, only 5. And then it was something like I think it was something like I asked him to throw me the ball more, and he said, "Put on a Commander's jersey. I'm done." Yeah, Josh, come
He'd
on,
be
boy.
good with the Commanders too. I'm sorry.
Don't bring that into fruition. Don't talk that into the universe. God, do not say that. That like the chemistry with this team is horrible, as we're seeing right now with this Bills team. I don't really know what else to say. Congratulations, Broncos, on taking this win. I hope you guys get some more. I am rooting for you guys.
Like I said,
I have
Bills, get
faith in this
ready.
Broncos team. We have to do our fantasy first, though.
Yes, we do.
I do want to look up. I do want to look up really quick. Stephon Diggs calling out Josh Allen because I do want to get this right.
Right.
It was a post on Instagram. That's all I know. It was a post on his story.
Right.
Yeah, I can't find anything on it, but it was on Bleacher Report. So we're going to go into Cole's fantasy first. Cole, you have the show.
All right. Well, I guess I'll start with disappointing. I actually have 2. You know what? I'm breaking the rules here. I'm doing 2.
Oh.
So my disappointment is actually, you know what? No, we're keeping show integrity. Screw me. Okay. Derrick Henry. Oh man. If he does literally 6 points better, I win this week. What happened? 24 rushing yards, 1 reception for -4 passing yards. To say I'm disappointed is an understatement. I mean, literally, you put up 250 this week. When I had Mitchell on the bench, who quite literally put up 13-10. This was frustrating. This was really, really upsetting. Yeah, I'm more like sad than angry. I don't know what happened. I don't know, it just seems like whenever they lean on you against a good team, you cannot perform. So get it figured out, please.
I love the videos of like players as soon as I bet on them, and it's like the guy throwing the ball backwards.
That's literally Derrick Henry whenever I need him to step up. Okay, that's not entirely true. He does step up majority of the times. This week was just tragic.
Horrible.
Okay, my mid for the week comes from the opponent that I was versing, ironically enough, and it goes to Kareem Hunt. You put up 920. I'm not like mad about it, but I'm not like super happy about it because I thought you'd be doing better at this point in your return, and to see only 920, I just I don't get it. So yeah, try and figure this out, please, because it's kind of depressing. I mean, you're my favorite kicker, and yet you do this. Come on.
Kareem Hunt, your favorite kicker.
I, if you get the joke, you have a dark mind like me, so welcome to the club. Been saving you a seat. Come on up.
Okay.
Okay,
And then now time for your
and now
good.
time for my good of the week. And my good actually comes from your team, ironically
Oh,
enough. San Francisco's
dang it!
defense.
That
I know
was
you
my
kind
good.
of.
Are you kidding me?
Well, think of somebody else. No, but what they did against Jacksonville, utterly amazing. I mean, they allowed 3 points. They had 5 sacks in 2 interceptions. Like, round of
Yeah. Round
applause.
of applause to
Good
you, San Fran.
resurgence. I'm proud.
All right. Time for my fantasy now. I'm gonna start off with the good. Was gonna do San Fran, but someone decided to do other plans. I'm doing Baker Mayfield.
I like that.
With 22.32 points. He just continues to show up every week. I'm so glad that I picked him up. And then for the mid, I'm doing Jake Ferguson from Dallas's team. When you're scoring 49 points against your team and you only get 10 points, you weren't like an influential part in that team that day. And then bad, I'm going to go Jamison Williams.
Ooh.
It sucks. It really does it as a Detroit fan when you got this guy who's like electric with his speed and his catching, and then he
Right.
comes back and he like what has he
280.
done? Yeah, like what has he really done with 2.80 points? It I don't get it. I really hope Jameson Williams does. I hope he has some game where like he's wide receiver 2 and then he just pops off.
That'd be great.
I hope he gets like 2 touchdowns, like 200 yards. I hope he does amazing in one game. That's all I need from him to be happy as a Lions fan.
And I also want to expound a little bit on my Kareem Hunt comment, just because I see the comments now that might be like, "Oh, you can't say that," blah 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 blah. Like, okay, I get it; it's unorthodox, but the reason why I bring it up is actually to diss Kareem Hunt. I'm not laughing at what he did. I just want to make that, because anybody who does that deserves to be ridiculed. It's sad.
I don't know what he did, but I'll look it up on my own time.
Oh yeah.
Might be some old story, but time to go into the final segment of today, and then we will leave you guys here. Teams that we are concerned about. Now, this can range from anything like I don't like production on this team. I don't like I don't like the play calls on this team. I don't like what they're doing. Just anything of that general. And I think Cole wants to go first. Or do you want to be the main event?
I'll let you choose. What would you rather?
It was kind of hard for me because I was going to do the Bills and then not. I can't do
I
that
mean,
anymore.
we could both do it. I mean, we're gonna have multiple. I got multiple.
Yeah, let's just both go on the Bills really quickly.
Let's do it.
Bills. Like what you were saying earlier, you need to fix your team chemistry. I don't know if it's the I don't know if it's the coach that you have or what, but there's something in that team that goes far beyond the play calls or who gets thrown the ball more, and that is hindering you guys far more than what it should be.
Yeah,
You
I
are letting
mean,
your personal lives be way too much in this game.
yeah, I mean, it's really disappointing because if you look at this team, they should be a Super Bowl contender, and even
Hmm.
maybe in like the Super Bowl this year. And I still think they could if they get it together. I mean, I'm going to start with a little bit of positivity first before I absolutely destroy you. Um, Joe Brady is your new offensive coordinator. You fired Ken Dorsey.
Oh
Joe
yeah.
Brady was a huge part on why LSU 2019 was the great team that they were. So I think you guys have a real potential of bouncing back and being awesome. It's just a matter of can we get the culture right and will Joe Brady be the true fix? Which I think he could. Now back to the slamming on you guys. Um, this is embarrassing. This is
Yes.
absolutely disgusting. I don't know. Josh Allen, he's the most hit or miss confusing quarterback in football, bar none. Because he'll have a week where he goes out there and he throws like, 5 touchdowns, maybe one pick, and he'll look great. And then he'll have a week like this to where he throws 1 touchdown and 2 picks against the Broncos.
The team that is like the worst defense right now in this
Yeah.
season.
So I don't know what his deal is with Stephon Diggs, but either fix it or trade one of them, because that is killing your team.
Or
Um,
just sit on the couch and make it up.
oh, whoa, what?
Sit on the couch and make
No,
it up.
let's not go that direction. No. Anyways, James Cook, 109, like he's so talented, so good. And again, you're wasting him. You're wasting
Yeah.
Latavius
He only
Murray's
has 615
actually.
yards
Yeah.
in week 10.
Yes. You're
He should be
wasting
past 1,000 by now, I feel like.
Oh, I agree. 100%. You're wasting Latavius Murray. You're wasting Dalton Kincaid's rookie season, which he finally starting to look like the tight end he was talked up to be. Stephon Diggs, like I mentioned, like what the actual heck is going on with that? Gabe Davis, he's doing really good whenever you need him, and you're wasting him. You're wasting Gregory Rousseau, who's your leading like defensive end, the reason why most people even care about the defense. Like, how are you wasting all this talent just to go 5-5? This is beyond sad. This is
Yeah.
disappointing.
And then you look at this team on paper, you look at all these stats, Josh Allen stats, Stephon Diggs, James Cook, and then you're like, how is this team 5-5?
Yep.
You go on the defense, like, dude, these are pretty okay stats. The only issue I see is that your leading interceptor is Micah Hyde with only 2 interceptions. That's pretty low when it's coming to week 10, and your best guy has only 2 picks.
Yeah.
So I definitely, if I was the GM, I would definitely improve the defensive mindset of not swatting the balls away, but getting interceptions, getting the ball back, making sure to get the ball back to the offense.
Yeah, getting those extra possessions are huge with this team because you never know like who Josh Allen is. Is he going to be
Hmm.
super Josh Allen or dud Josh Allen? There's no in between.
Which, by the way, if I see one more person talk about Lamar Jackson throwing interceptions, and then I see Josh Allen throwing 11 picks this season, 3 of them being in week 1,
Yep.
I'm going to
Do
lose
the
my
check.
mind. And it's not even like, he's getting sacked a lot. He's only been sacked 13 times, and this is a week 10. That's pretty normal.
Great by the O line.
Yeah, yeah. That's a pretty good O line if I would think so.
See, and the weird thing is with Buffalo, and the part I don't get is like they were all off season, all I kept hearing was like, oh, the great culture, and it's like a family, and all this other stuff. Like, is it? Yeah, I
Bills
mean,
Mafia
is
is
this
not where it
the
is supposed to be.
is this like the dysfunctional family? Is that what we were aiming for? Like, the aunts and the uncles like hate each other, want to kill each other, like the grandma and grandpa's trying to like hold it together. Like, is that what this family is that everyone was talking about?
I mean, Bills Mafia, most of them are dysfunctional families. You want to talk to Snorlax?
Oh,
But
what?
Snorlax is our friend, by the way. It's
Yeah,
his like gamer tag, if you
we
don't
love you, Snorlax.
know. But it's just I don't know if it's the coach or a coordinator that's messing things up, but there's something in this team, especially with their personal lives. Like we've seen it last year. This all started last year in the
Yep,
playoff game with the Bills and Bengals,
Bengals.
with Stephon Diggs yelling at Josh Allen, like across the room, across the field, and you could tell the bad blood between them was starting to boil. And then during this season, it was like, oh no, they're cool now. We're on the same team. Classic quarterback wide receiver one duo. And then now it's like this, and you don't know what to even think about this team. Like I can't have a good or bad opinion about this team because it's literally average 5-5, second in AFC East. This team is the most average has been and shouldn't be average. It should
No.
be a Super Bowl contender, but I don't see it like that.
Yeah, no, I mean that is crazy. And then, like you look around and you go, "Oh, well, certainly they might have like some really elite teams in their divisions." But it's like, okay, the Dolphins, they're good,
Yeah.
but they're not elite. You look at, the Jets and it's like they are anything but elite. They're very far off. And then you look at the Patriots and it's like, oh.
Yeah, that's
So
their designated fourth spot. They have car seat. They have a parking tickets there.
So I just don't understand. Like, you quite literally let the Jets back in to even being in the conversation, and they should not be. And then the Dolphins
Yeah.
are leading this, and it's like, how are they leading it? They're not even like they're good, but they're not elite. They're not a Super Bowl team. I'm sorry.
The Bills should be tied with number one, and there's no excuse for it not to be.
Yeah.
I don't know if it's something with Sean McDermott or what.
Well, they fired Ken Dorsey, so maybe
We're
I mean that
hoping
was
next. Yeah, who do they face next week?
that is a good question.
They face. I'm looking at it right now. If my computer ever loads a tab to save my life.
They
Oh, the Jets.
have the
Great.
Jets. Oh
Perfect.
goodness.
This is your time to shine. This is your opportunity to be like, we're a good team. And stop throwing interceptions. You don't need to throw an interception every single game, Josh Allen. I don't know if someone's told you that yet, but you don't need to.
Josh Allen not throwing an interception challenge impossible.
Like my guy, Brock Purdy, Mr. Irrelevant, has better stats than you.
Yep. Oh, but he has a better team. Shut up. They could
Better
be equal.
better team. CMC and George Kittle.
Like this team literally could be equal to the Niners in every sense of the word. Like quarterback wise, running back wise, wide receiver room. Maybe that's the part where the Niners have the upper. Tight ends are equal in my opinion because I think
Eh,
Kincaid's potential is like out of this world. O
potential, but
line.
right now Kittle is still number one.
Well, yeah, I mean, compared. O-line, I think the Bills even have a better O-line. In defense,
Yeah.
I will say defense is closer than people think. Like secondary makes a like okay, look at this. Front four, obviously you go with the Niners because you got Nick Bosa, you got Chase Young, you got, there's so many good ones. Linebackers, that could be even. That could be
Fred
really
Warner for the
close.
49ers.
Yeah. And then if you look corners and safeties, I give the Bills that advantage because like the Niners don't have
They don't
like
have a strong safety room. They don't have a good defensive back room other than
yeah, they
corners.
really don't.
Well, even then, I don't think I give it to the 49ers for corners.
Uh, you know, okay, so corners and safeties I personally give to the Bills,
Yeah,
but
I agree.
linebackers I will say I give it to the
Fred Warner is
Niners,
too much
but
of a
it is
beast.
closer. Yeah. All right, so now that we're done dunking on Buffalo, let's go to the next team. Well, for me at least.
Okay.
Next team for me. that really is sending off like the alarm bells, I guess you could say, for another term. And I'm not gonna say the obvious one, okay? The obvious one is the Steelers. I'm not saying it. I'm not. Why would I waste my
We've
time?
fought our battles with the Steelers. We you know where we stand with the Steelers.
Exactly. All you got to do is fire Matt Canada, and then maybe by
We
some
can't rant about
miracle,
just Matt Canada for like 30 minutes straight.
as much as I want to, yeah, I can't.
It's a little
Um,
difficult.
I'm gonna say the Chargers. The
Okay.
Chargers scare me because this team is another one like Buffalo. Like, okay, look around. Got a really good quarterback. Well, okay. I didn't think he was all that great right away. Now he's starting to rub on me a little bit. I don't think he's all that great, but I do think he's better than I thought he was, if that
Mhm.
makes sense. Austin Eckler, beast. Wide receiving core, deep. O line, say what you will. I mean, they're okay. They could be better. Defense, good. You got a lot of people. You got the top safety in the land. And
Derwin
you're
James.
still, yeah, and you're still, giving up a lot of points. Like, I just don't understand. I still think it's head coach. I've been saying it since the Jacksonville game, but it's got to be a little bit more than that because, like, maybe it's the offensive coordinator too. Maybe it's the defensive coordinator. I don't know, but something needs to get done because this amount of talent is getting wasted.
Yeah. What I suggest, and you already know this,
Mm,
I suggest good old Jim Harbaugh from Michigan comes up
heck
there,
yeah.
goes back to California, not with the 49ers this time, but with the Chargers. I think Jim Harbaugh, what he could do with this team would be, a lot better than where they are right now. It might take him a couple of years to readjust from going to college for so long and then going back to the NFL. But after maybe a season or two, Jim Harbaugh could get this team up and running.
Completely agree.
Yeah. So Jimbo boy, Jim Bolly
Jim.
Bit boy.
No, be careful. Don't say Jimbo because he was just fired from A&M and he might get
Sorry,
some ideas.
sorry.
On a side note, real quick, I wanted to mention this. Jimbo Fisher's getting paid $76.4 million in a buyout just to not coach Texas A&M.
That's
That's
insane.
sad. And then Arnett got fired from Mississippi State. But we're going to talk about that a little bit more on the college show. I just want to give a little taste. That's Friday, by the way. Um, don't know the time yet. We'll get that. But yeah, but going back to the Chargers, like I don't
There's no excuse to be third in this division.
know. You should at least be two. I mean, Kansas City's still Kansas City, but how are you number three?
Denver's tied with you. Denver. Denver. You know the Broncos, the horses? Yeah, they're tied with you.
Yeah.
No excuse. That is actually horrible.
I'm at a loss for words with how much
I look
talent.
at this team, I go, why is this team failing? Why is it the play calls? Is it the coaching? And there's no definitive answer. And that's I would rather have this a team go 0-17 and have an answer than a team that's doing so aggressively average and be like, we don't know.
This is another team that will make the playoffs and then fizzle out in like the divisional, and
You
they
lost to
should.
the Jags last year in the division because Trevor Lawrence doesn't lose on Saturdays.
Yeah,
Did you see that?
I did.
Do you remember that last year? Trevor
Yep.
Lawrence does not lose on Saturdays.
And then
What?
another team, and this will be my last team that I bring up,
It'll be
the
also like
Falcons.
we'll end it after that.
Okay. Actually, no, no. You know what? I'm not even gonna do the Falcons. I'm gonna do somebody else because
Okay.
you already know. Much like the Steelers, Arthur Smith, he's an idiot. So I'm just gonna save a whole rant there, and I'm gonna go with my second option, New Orleans.
Oh, Nolans.
This team, I know they're 5-5. I know some of you might be typing here about like, oh well, they're 5-5. This is a really good season. They're a competitive team. You're lying to yourself. You are absolutely lying to yourself if you think this team is competitive. Okay, they have a syndrome that is against teams they should beat. They might beat them, and if they do beat them, they will struggle to beat them. Just look at Chicago. I mean, I rest my case. You only beat him, and that was Tyler Baggett, or whatever his name was. You only beat him by 7. 7!
Yeah.
And it's
There's
the
no excuse to
Bears!
lose to the secondary Bills, like the backups for the Bears.
Oh my goodness, how? And then this team, like, here we go again. You play a somewhat good team, in my opinion, a pretty good team, and you lose. Now, I know some of you might be going, oh, they only lost by 8. Cut them a break. They still lost a big game. And nowhere close to figuring out their issues, because this is not the first year that this has happened. This happens all the time with Nolans. All the time.
And it's not even you guys have like bad people either. You got, I wouldn't say Derek Carr's good. I wouldn't mention Derek Carr, but you got Alvin Kamara. He only has 388 yards.
Wow.
Chris Olave only 657. Chris Olave should be in the thousands by now. It's
True.
waste of talent, and the waste of rookies on this team is gonna bring this team down to a bad morale, like how the Bill what the Bills are dealing with right now, where there's gonna be
See,
frustrated players that don't get the ball as much as they should.
yeah.
And
And I mean,
it kills me.
that drives me nuts. And also, too, like, this defense, it's not bad. I mean, yeah, I know you got some, like, some younger guys, like, Malcolm Roach and Zach Bond. Like, I get there's some young guys, but you got a majority veteran defense here. Brian
Hmm.
Breezy, another young guy, but,
Cameron
you know,
Jordan.
exactly. You got Cameron Jordan. You got Marshawn Lattimore. You got Pete White. I can never say his name. Werner. You got Marcus May. Like Tyron Matthew, Demario Davis, and I just do they not get it? Are they not meshing together? Like you know, they are not great by any stretch. They do decent. I'm not gonna say they're horrible, but what is the deal? Like, is it just a Louisiana thing to not play defense? Because
This
LSU, football, we got Matt House, he sucks. New Orleans Saints don't want to play defense. Kim Mulkey's team was giving up like 70, I think it was, or 60 to whoever they were playing, Kent State. And then Matt McMahon with the boys basketball, they lost to Nicholls State. I mean, I don't.
Louisiana man is just
It's
dragging that
gotta
defense
be
down.
all offense, no defense.
You know what's sad? We're talking
What?
about how bad this team needs a change, and how how poor they're doing. They're
Uh,
first in their division. If you want an estimate to how horrible the NFC South is, a 5-5 team is their first in the division.
and here's the sad part about that. This team will probably make the playoffs and be like, "Oh yeah, everything's fine. We're good.
We're a 8-9 team,
Yeah, we're fine. We won our division." It's like
7 and
that's
10 team making
the worst division
the
in football.
division. Oh, that's gonna be horrible. I think the Bucks will take him though. Will take
This
over that division.
reminds me of like what was it, 2 years ago when Washington made the divisional in or wild card and they played Tampa Bay and got like destroyed, and they shouldn't have been there in the first place, but they were the best team in their division.
Oh, Derek Carr did get injured. That's why he was. He did get
Still,
injured in that game.
go with Jake Hainer, don't go with Jameis Winston.
Yeah. It's also like decisions like that. Decisions like, all right, who should we put in when Derek Carr goes down? The promising rookie or some random dude off the street.
The equivalent of like
A bag
I'm
of
not
chips.
like strawberry ice cream, you know? It's like it's there. It's okay for like every now and again. That's Jameis Winston. He's literally strawberry ice cream.
Yeah, this team needs a lot of changing.
Yeah.
We already just sent it home though, Cole.
Take us home.
All right. This has been JCP Ends on Perspective podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed. This is Jay from JCP, and we hope you had a good time. Make sure to watch tomorrow's Bengals
Friday.
versus Ravens Thursday night football game.
Oh, I thought you were
And
saying for the college football show. Never
no, 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 no. Well, that's Friday. Come
Yeah,
on,
that's
man.
what I
Today's
was saying.
Wednesday.
This week
uh,
cannot go by
an
fast enough.
actual good, showing for Thursday night football. I hope you guys enjoyed it. And this is Jay from JCP, and we're out.
God bless y'all.